my buddy Ramon expediting over some valve keepers. We are back in business. I'm putting in the last valve spring right now. And we'll be ready to do other things, finally. Alright, we're going to go through the process of bleeding hydraulic lifters, which is pretty simple, but if you've never done it, you don't know. You're going to get a paper clip. So take your paper clip and you put it down into the center of the hydraulic lifter. If you get it right into the center, the top portion will depress. But if you're just a hair off, it'll feel rock solid. It's a very narrow window you gotta hit. So feel around in there until you get it right in the middle, and then the head depresses. You'll feel it kind of sink down. Alright, so we know we've got that. So what you do is you take a cup of oil, fresh clean oil, and you're going to submerge the lifter down into it. You see how air bubbles are starting to come out already. So the idea is to hold the lifter, put your clothespin down in there, and depress the plunger. See how the air bubbles are coming out? Oh, see, now I missed the hole, so it's not depressing. So you got to feel around till it, there it goes. So now I'm depressing the head. Keep pressing the plunger down until no more air bubbles come out. Then you will know that the lifter is full. Now it is very important to keep the lifter upright. If you tip it over, you've lost the oil that's in there and you've defeated your whole point. So it has to go just like this all the way into the head. Now just rinse and repeat. So if you actually take the lifters right out of the head and you put them straight in here, when you do this you'll see the old oil come out. And as you're depressing this internal valve, you'll see like black streaks come out into the new oil. But these are pretty empty because they've been polished and laying sideways in the shop, so all the oil's leaked out. So pretty much all I'm doing, filling the things with fresh oil. And that's exactly what we want. And you know, right there. Now, for whatever reason, when you're putting in these little shims for the rocker arm, factory service manual shows the grooved one on the left. What I mean on the left, I'm saying left in this orientation. Don't know why, don't know if it matters, but what does matter is balancing out the amount of space between the rocker arm and the camshaft lobes, but you have to do that afterwards. So you're going to put the whole damn thing together and measure the tolerances with a feeler gauge and make sure everything is within spec, and before you can you know, well, you got to bolt the thing down tight and check the tolerances and then unbolt it and fix it the best you can based on the measurements you know from all the other tolerances. Anyway, total pain in the butt, but that's how it goes. Alright, now we're going to throw assembly lube in all the spots where the camshaft is going to sit. Make sure everything's nice and lubed up. Now, don't neglect these little guys that sit on top of each camshaft. These bring oil up through a tiny little orifice there, and it runs up into this tube, and it drips down oil on top of your camshafts. Pretty damn important. And mine was actually the orifices, these little tiny orifices. Come on, zoom, focus, not zoom. Little tiny orifices were gummed up, but I spent some time with the air compressor, got it cleaned out, and everything should be good now. So who knows what catastrophic damage that could have caused down the road if I hadn't have caught in it. So be sure to check that. All right, got the head assembled. Everything is good, pretty much. I think there was a... No, I think it is good. But so I'm gonna put the valve cover on for now, but not permanently. I'm just putting it on there to keep the dust and crap out. Because we actually need to be able to get there to get the timing chain over the camshaft sprockets and stuff like that. But for now, we can put this head or this valve cover back on the head and pretty much put that project aside. And then it's back to tackling the block. So in the block, still have to put the upper and lower oil pans on, oil pickup tubes, things like that. There's a water pump, bunch of all the stuff that has to get bolted on the bottom end. But man, we're making big strides.
Pulsating on the floor. Oh god.
So working on the bottom end, got the rod caps bolted down to spec. I replaced this, where's the other one? This is the S13 oil pickup tube, and I actually replaced it with an S14 one that I had sitting around, which is much better and less likely to starve oil.
Much better.
Mucho better. Alright, so now, as far as that goes, the baffle's in place, everything's good, everything's happy. Just gotta get the upper, upper oil pan on. So we got the gray right stuff. But this has to go in a certain way. It's like outside or inside in certain points, and then it hits here, and then it goes outside, and then it hits here and it goes inside, and then two of these are outside. Anyway, it's weird, but just follow your factory service manual. And we're gonna do that, get it bolted on, and then probably actually get the lower oil pan on as well. And yeah, then it'll be like bottom end mostly complete. Yeah, actually we could put the head gasket on and put the head on that. I mean, just for the hell of it. I mean, there's still some things like water pump that have to go on and crank pulley and stuff, but that'd be pretty sweet. All right, gonna do it now.
Yay. Yes.
Bolted on. Time for the lower oil pan.
In progress.
Yes.
All right, so when I had her bent over last night. Oh, okay, so the...
Wow. All right, so just realized our head bolts are actually underneath the cams, so I'm gonna have to pull the cams off, but to get it bolted down. But we're gonna get this in place now, just because we can, and then we'll pull the cams off later.
Yeah, because they're not gonna hit the cams at all. We can set it on there,
right,
and then pull them off.
Right. And it'll probably be easier to get that timing chain on.
Yeah. With these off.
With it off. And so that's one thing we're gonna have to do when we're putting this on. Hopefully it didn't loosen up. We gotta feed this up through there as we're going.
Yeah, like through. Okay. Word.
Did we spin it around correct?
Yeah, I think this is the front of the motor, right? Yeah. So then this is the front of the motor. So should be okay. That big old metal dipstick tube.
Okay.
Is that a weld? Did you weld that bolt on there? Because it didn't.
I don't think so.
No, okay. You see this bolt right here? The super rusty, crappy bolt?
That
right. Little washer that's stuck around it, I thought that was a weld. I thought you did
it looks like something.
It looks like you put a bolt halfway in, you're like, I can't find the right size, and we just weld it in place. It's definitely something you would do. Do you have it fed up through there and bungeed onto it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to watch it, but...
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the holes here. Oh yeah, she's good.
Right.
Perfect, yeah.
A little bit
Deeper.
Oh shit.
She's not going down.
What? Yeah, it's not going down. Oh. I was like, why is it not going down? That makes sense. A little bit more. I mean, it's got a little bit of weight on it, but not much.
No, it was... This was sagging. Oh, it's hanging
because it's hanging on the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you realized that.
I thought
that's
it was binding on something at the engine. Ooh, okay.
I thought you realized that this was still up.
Yeah, no, just the chain.
That's why I said a little bit more.
That's hilarious.
Is it catching?
No, it's also a timing chain.
The chain catching on something down there?
Mm-hmm.
What the? No finger?
I gotta take off these fucking cams.
Okay. And put the chain around the cams? Or just have more space?
Just have more space.
Weird. What is it, a 10?
Tens.
Okay.
Okay, so we didn't get that part filmed, but yeah, I had to remove the cams and all because the timing chain was binding up. And you also have to have the cams removed so you can actually get to the ARP head studs. So that was just me being dumb and not realizing to put the head together first before putting the cams in. But once they came out, everything went together real easy, real happy, real good.
Real happy.
I mean, I'm happy.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, working on the SR. Here's what happened. Got the head bolted down. There you see a little Tommy head gasket peeking out there. Hey, what's going on, fella? Alright, so the ARP head studs are all bolted down, torqued to spec. Now the cams and all that crap is back on because you couldn't get to the head bolts with the cams on, so that was a stupid thing on my part. But all the cam caps are bolted to spec. Got the chain tensioner in. Double checked the timing. It was at top dead. I've been spinning it now, but it was at top dead center. And the silver links were like there and there, right? So like it says it should in the manual. I was worried we'd slipped a tooth on the chain while we were monkeying shit with the head, but I think everything is mint. Let me zoom out a little. That's better. Let's see. Stupid thing. Oh, I gotta find this other bolt for the water pump pulley. But anyway, just stupid things like the dipstick tubes bolted in place, and man, we are like getting there. So next thing I have to do. This is one of the turbo coolant lines. I don't remember if it's feed or return, but it used to go to all kinds of crap that was back here. I eliminated all that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and interrupt right here because I screwed this up. As much as I looked at the diagrams and tried to get this to work better, it didn't. And we had overheating issues when we got the car running, and it may have not been circulating coolant through the turbo. Like, I think it might have burned up the seals a little bit. But anyway, that being said, I think I went by Alberto Big Boost, his method of eliminating what you can eliminate, but it actually ended up putting back most of the piping that was there, because I'd also stupidly not routed coolant through the air idle control valve, and that's necessary. So don't do what I just did. Valve cover's got to go on, brackets got to go on, got to have the power steering pump, alternator, all that bracketry. Finish hooking up lines like this is one of the turbo lines. Oil, that's the oil return. So that one's feed here, oil feed. Oil return goes back into the bottom of the engine here. So stupid little thing, but making big steps, big moves. Assuming we didn't screw something up. I mean, but honestly, I feel really good about everything. Feeling good, so. Gonna rebuild the power steering rack and not screw it up this time.
Yeah.
So we do rebuild the power steering rack and do screw it up. So coming in a later video, since I had such a heck of a time finding an S14 power steering rack, I mean, like, impossible. I ended up getting an S13 one, and we're in the process of adapting it to the S14 chassis. So stay tuned for that in a later video. So he's spraying out where the power steering rack's gonna go because we have that rebuilt. All new seals and good stuff like that. We gotta bolt a couple things we had to go get, a bolt or whatever. We're gonna put that back together, get it back in the car once it dries off. Then we gotta weld or solder a new connector on the alternator plug, just stupid crap like that. And so these are new bolts, pressure plate bolts, and then flywheel bolts, because we had some that were like stripping out. So I got a new one of those that are going to go in, And we got stuff for the brand new filter and oil, because we want to put fresh oil and crap in this. Get the thing running, flush all that oil out, make sure it's clean, no metal shavings, this and that. But we're like this close to like putting the motor back in the car. Once this power steering rack is done and back in, go time.